How are you doing? Yeah. How was work today? Welcome to the Mentors Show tonight. Welcome. What you say is what you do. Welcome to the Mentor Show tonight. It's another Tuesday. Another Tuesday. Worship you. What the way would you feel me? Yourself in my life, and I've come to realize. It's Mental Show. We are too faithful to fail me. We are too faithful to this. Welcome to the Mental Show. You told yourself in my life. I've come to realize you're too faithful to fail me. Yes, welcome to all our audience on Facebook. Welcome those on Facebook. Welcome to our audience on YouTube. Facebook at Olushola Ajide. And on YouTube, of course, on African Coaching and Mentorship Initiative. Welcome, Tracy. Yes, on LinkedIn at Dr. Olushola Ajide. So welcome. Welcome. Good evening. So, like you see, for those on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on YouTube, you could see that our assignment tonight is cut out for us. Yes, we are focusing on Nation 28. Tonight we are mapping again Africa's natural resources. And we are looking at Nation 58, which is Libya. We are looking at Libya tonight. So for those of you joining us on LinkedIn, welcome. Those of you on Facebook at Olushola Ajide, welcome. Those of you on YouTube, welcome. And of course, those of you on Instagram, welcome Tracy, and welcome every other person. So we are looking at Libya tonight. Our spotlight is on Libya. Libya. Libya is our spotlight tonight. Like I've mentioned in time past, we have been looking at mapping Africa's natural resources. Again, welcome to the Africa Coaching and Mentorship Initiative YouTube. Welcome to the Mentor Show, actually. And on this show, we normally have guests. This show is to inspire you, is to help you reinvent yourself, is to help you to make a positive impact in your community, in your country, and of course on the continent where you reside currently. And of course, we do have guests on this show through whom we learn lessons. But when we don't have guests like tonight, we focus specifically on countries on the continent of Africa. And we have been looking at countries, and today is country number 28. We've looked at Algeria. Algeria was number 1. We looked at Angola, Benin. We've looked at Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Central African Republic, Chad, Comoros, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Democratic Republic of the Congo. We've looked at Djibouti, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Kenya, Lesotho, Liberia. The last time we looked at Liberia. And of course now we are looking at nation 28, which is Libya. And looking at these nations is just spotlighting each of them and showcasing and mapping the natural resources that is available in these countries. And looking at the natural resources available in these countries to bring before you a template, or to indicate to you the opportunities that are there in these countries, economic opportunities, and of course to flag up the challenges. And these challenges are actually opportunities. Challenges that are in these countries are opportunities. And when we look at any nation on the continent of Africa, it might sound very drowning when you look at or mourning the huge and massive inequalities and challenges therein. However, it is actually opportunities. The challenges are a testament to the fact that there are, or these are, opportunities for anyone that cares to listen. And one of the key things I did mention on this show is, have you, as our audience, have you discovered the reason why you were born? Have you discovered why you were born? There is a reason why you were born. Have you discovered it? Because discovering the reason why you were born will help you to begin to live and begin to, I assume, will begin to help you to fulfill that purpose and begin to walk in that line. For us, and for me as a person, one of the critical reasons for my existence is to inform and educate. And that's why we show up every Tuesday. Either we educate by bringing you a guest to learn through their life lessons, or we look at a continent, a particular nation, and look at what are the opportunities there, and see and bring that to you, our audience, for you to permit me to use this word. I don't mean it in a demeaning way, but you get it. To say, to wake you up. To wake you up to your own responsibility and your own place and your own assignment for us to, on the earth first and foremost, and of course, yes, now, on the continent of Africa, for those who are from that part, because without we from that continent stepping up, nobody will help us. I hope you get it. Good. So tonight, like you've seen, we are focusing on the nation of we are focusing on the nation. Oh, apologies. I'm trying to find. It seems YouTube, Instagram. As for those who are on Instagram, has removed this aspect, the ability to share I wanted to share the picture for people to see what we are talking about today. All right, let's go into it tonight. So, welcome. For those of you on LinkedIn, tell us where you are joining us from. Let us know where you are watching from, and let's know what have you discovered while you were born? Have you discovered your purpose? Have you discovered the reason for your own existence? Because the discovery of the reason for your existence would lead to you trying to take action and do something about it that will lead to your own achievement, satisfaction, or fulfillment of purpose. Yeah. Okay, let's go into our session tonight. Insight NG, welcome. So we are looking at Libya. Libya is a country that we are spotlighting today. Good. Libya. And interestingly enough, Libya was in the news of recent with the flood that happened in that country. It's unfortunate, the flood that happened in this country. So Libya is a nation in the north and part of Africa. And this particular nation is a country classified to be in the Maghreb region of North Africa. It is bordered by the Mediterranean Sea to the north, Egypt to the east, and Sudan to the southeast, Chad to the south, and Niger to the southwest, Algeria to the west, and Tunisia to the northwest. So it's comprised of three regions: Tripolitania, Fezzan, and Cyrenaica. In fact, it is said that for those who are Christians, that when Jesus was carrying his cross, the man that was made, Simon of Cyrene, the man who was made to carry his cross, actually was from this part, was from Cyrene, was from this Cyrenaica, which has been alluded was previously connected to Greece in many years, of course, ago. The country, when it comes to landmass, is about 1.8 million, kilometers in land mass. Is the fourth largest country in Africa and in the Arab world, and is the 16th largest country in the world based on landmass, the area of this particular country. The country of Libya, the official religion is Islam, with 96.6% of Libyan's population being Sunni Muslims, and the official language of Libya is Arabic, with vernacular Libyan Arabic being spoken widely in the country. So the majority of the Libyan population is Arab, and while the largest city, which is the capital, is Tripoli, and is located in northwestern Libya and contains over 1 million of Libya's 7 million people. So the population of this particular country, Libya, is 7.2 million, over 7.2 million, 552,573, which makes it the 106th most populous nation on earth. Now, Libya, you know that Libya has been in the news, like I mentioned earlier, with the dam that ruptured. Now, politically, this country has had a king before. There was a king. It was that particular king that the most popular past president, you know, is Muammar Gaddafi, actually through coup took over from. And Muammar Gaddafi ruled this country for 42 years. Since 1969, he was there for 42 years. Before he was, through a coup also, or through, circumstances, he left the aim of affairs of this particular nation. So the country is a unitary republic under a unity government, and they have the legislature out of House of Representatives, and they declared independence on the 10th of February 1947, because India had an interesting past of having been colonized by Italy. India was, sorry, I said in India, Libya, apologies, a slip of tongue. Libya was colonized by Italy, and they got their independence from them, and they've been, so it is said, I've not been to Libya, but it's often said that you see quite a lot of architecture, old Italian architecture dispersed around the country because of the historical colonialists that were in that particular country. Now, when it comes to economy, the GDP of the country is $168.371 billion, and it's during the time it used to have, because I remember it was said that this particular nation had one of the good health system that they had. So let me start before we go into other areas, before going into the health in principle. Let's look at other facts about this nation. Now, what are the natural resources? Don't forget, we are mapping Africa's natural resources. So what are the natural resources that Libya has? So Libya has a huge deposit of petroleum, which they discovered. They started operating. That was discovered in 1959 at Amal and Zeltland, and now known as NASA, and they began exporting that petroleum in 1961. So from that 1961 up till now, So they joined OPEC in 1962. So the country has a substantial amount of petroleum. And aside from petroleum, they also have natural gas and gypsum. So, of course, the economy is largely dependent on on oil. The economy, not enemy, the economy is dependent on oil. And because of the small population that the nation has, their GDP per capita was one of the highest in Africa because of the small population that this particular, and their currency is called the dinar. Of course, the flag, like you could see, for those of you who are either on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on YouTube, you will see the 3 bars of red, black, and of course green, and also the crescent at the center of that the black side of that particular flag. Now, this nation has gone through a lot, and of course, as they experienced civil wars, 2 civil wars, most recent in 2020, and which they've gone through. And it's very unfortunate with the current demise, based on the flood, the dam that broke, that almost 20,000 people were, wow. It's quite a challenge, isn't it? When 20,000 people with population are just wiped out like that. And that goes back to the issue of maintenance culture on our continent. There's a need for a renaissance, if you like to use that terminology, for maintenance culture. See, it's quite interesting that if you are in the West, at least I'm in the UK, and you go to some places and you see markers indicating when those structures were built. It's amazing. It's amazing because I remember when I was studying, we went into one museum, a place. That particular building was owned by, I think, an earl. An earl is like a rich man, or one of the people in the rulers. That building was built in 1770, I think 1775. Yeah. And when you see the structure, it's still standing perfect till date. That's over 200 years old. And as you go around the city, you see some bridges that were constructed in 18 something are still standing. That tells you about the kind of resilience and type of structure that was put in place. So there's a call for us on the continent of Africa a call on if you like, the architects, the builders, the civil engineers, to revisit the kind of stress tests that must be done for most of our buildings. Some buildings are even collapsing under construction. And I've told you now that in this part of the world, there are some buildings that have been existing for more than 200 years, for example. There are some buildings that are already existed for more than 100 years, 1908, and you will see the markers on those buildings when those buildings were constructed. So there's a need for those who are responsible for the construction of all infrastructures on our continent to step up and ensure that the infrastructures stand the test of time. It's one thing to build infrastructure and to ensure that it stands the test of time. It's another thing to ensure that we are actually checking it. We are checking this infrastructure to ensure that they are still in place. They are still good to go. That it can still serve the purpose of what they were made to do. All right, let's go to look at health infrastructure when it comes to Egypt. It's alluded that there is crisis in the health system in Egypt. After the deposit of Muammar Gaddafi, it seems the country went into chaos and everything seems to be in disarray. So the challenge is there for, like we said, that the population growth rate is 2.8%, the crude birth rate is 24.9%, and the life expectancy is 72.3%, because they had good health, infrastructure. Fertility rate is 2.4%. So the question will now be, now that you don't have such good health infrastructure, it will have a huge impact on the population. When it comes to the population, which is that I mentioned before, 7-point-something million, about 32%, 32.6% in the past 25 years. Increased by 24. Okay, increased by 32 points. Now, 17.1% are between the age of 15 and 24. This is as per 2015 statistics. And the age range of male is 89.9%. Female 3.7%. When it comes to the issue of and the illiteracy rate is 99.9%, which is good. Life expectancy is 75%, 5 years. It means you have to live up to 75 years, which is actually good. But the question is, with the current challenge, economic challenge, leadership, even though there is a president in there now in that country, what will be the health or life expectancy of people in the country? So there is scarcity of national health information, which led to inaccurate health indicators regarding the issue of mortality and morbidity. And there's now also the highest incidence of HIV/AIDS among which is challenged because of the porousness of the nation. So when you look at these challenges, it's still an opportunity for those who are in the health sector to step up and solve these problems that are there in this nation. I told you earlier, let's look at the issue of the agriculture. I mentioned earlier that this particular nation, when it comes to the gypsum is what they produce. So agriculture is the second largest sector in the economy. Libya depends on import for most of its foods. Now, because of the climate of the desert where it is. Now, the climatic conditions are so poor, the poor soil, they cannot do a lot of, so they depend a lot of on imports to meet the domestic needs. Of course, that's opportunity. And also because of low rainfall, agriculture does not work. But interestingly enough, Libya has one of the biggest in the world, you know, water project that can serve up to 5 million cubic liters a day, you know, moving water from a particular period to the coastal parts of the country. And that was huge. Big pipes moving water underground. That was a huge, huge project. That was a huge project. Good evening, Becky. How are you today? So, with the challenge of bad soil in Libya, so you could see that there are opportunities in the agricultural sector, because even though they plant gypsum and there is the second most, you know, thing that they export, there's still opportunity, you know, in the agricultural sector of Libya. So we've mentioned that Libya has, when it comes to natural resources, they have oil, they have natural gas, they have gypsum, they have iron, they have potassium, they have magnesium, they have phosphate, they have silica, and limestone, among others that Libya possesses. So these are opportunities for investments in the nation of Libya. And, you know, I mentioned earlier, when it comes to the issue of agriculture, if you look at other nations, we need people from the continent of Africa or any part of the world to do research. I'm trying to see how to create more resilient seed that can still grow in that part of the world. Innovation is just wonderful, isn't it? Today, I was, you know, I'm amazed about if only we can utilize the innovation and technology. I was amazed today. I was watching a robot actually playing ping pong, table tennis, with a human being, and it was, I just couldn't. It's quite so surreal. Then again, I watched another one, AI, another robot dancing with another person. So you could see that technology is providing an opportunity. So there will definitely be opportunity for technology to see, while the rainfall in Egypt is very small, while the soil cannot take too much, there would definitely be opportunity to do research and to find seeds that can grow even in very dire situations. And that's what part of what this show is talking about. Calling you out, making you aware of the challenges, which are actually opportunities for research, for investment, and for you to think of, within that context, discover also your own life purpose. Why were you born? What problem were you born to solve? Were you born to do a research? Last week on the show, we had a guest who is helped to do research when it comes to cancer, prostate cancer. So the same is for you. What problem were you born to solve? And you need to discover the problem you were born to solve and begin to do something about it, so that your life can have a meaning, and that you don't deprive us of the value that you have for all of us. So when it comes to Egypt, we've seen the opportunities when it comes to, economic wise, health wise, agricultural wise, education wise, with Arabic being the main lingua franca. You of course know that if in any nation where English is not spoken, or French is not spoken, it limits, so to speak, or Spanish, or Portuguese, or Italian, or whatever it is. It limits those nations. I'm not, please get me right, I'm not canvassing for, what I'm canvassing for is that we need to extend ourselves and be able to communicate and be able to reach out and to learn. I'm trying to learn other languages too. So it's opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for people who can speak English or any other language to teach people also in Egypt. It is an opportunity. That's the point I'm making here. It is an opportunity. So you just want to see it. It is an opportunity, either physically or remotely. I remember I met a young lady when I traveled to Africa in July to Botswana, who I think she says she stays in South Korea, and she teaches English in South Korea. And she's from the southern hemisphere of Africa. So it is an opportunity, and you can see how you can exploit that kind of opportunity. So that's us done today. It's not a long session, and the people who suffered based on the dam infrastructure that got destroyed, a lot of them have lost their wives, their husbands, their whole family wiped off. As they going through grieving process. So of course they are needing grieving services, they're needing psychologists, counselors to help those people who have gone through this kind of very challenging situations. So there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of challenges that are there for us to help in that country, to help Libya to continue to thrive as a nation. My dream is that every nook and cranny of the continent of Africa would experience development, would experience advancement, would experience that kind of a place where everybody can thrive, so to speak. A place where everybody can thrive. And that is what is needed. So have you discovered the reason why you were born? That's my call. That's my message. Have you discovered why you were born? Discover why you were born and step to the plate and begin to apply yourself to that purpose. All right. That's all done for today. We looked at the nation 28, Libya. I'll see you again next Tuesday by the grace of God.